Hey guys, and welcome to Resilient Rati. My name is Ratik Datta, and I usually start off by saying that I'm currently pursuing my master's in marketing from Purdue University. If you've been following this channel for a while, that must have pretty much been ingrained in your mind. I think you would have pretty much by-hearted it by now. But it's a little different this time, given the fact that as the title suggests, I have officially graduated from Purdue University. Yeah, it's a pretty big deal, and I just wanted to take this time to congratulate everyone, any and every Boilermaker who's graduated, and not just any Boilermaker, any students all across the world who graduated from their respective universities, because this is a moment of celebration at this point where a lot of people tend to graduate. So you should give yourself a huge pat on the back and congratulations once again. My convocation ceremony was this past Sunday, just about just few days before the filming of this video, and I'll be talking more about my convocation ceremony in detail in the video ahead. But all I can say that it was brilliant. I really enjoyed. I had a great time. It was a pretty good exclamation mark to my entire journey here at Purdue. So the fun fact about my relation with Purdue is the fact that originally Purdue was not a part of my short list of universities, given the fact that I was actually more keen on going to the UK versus the US for the simple reason that the UK was in Europe, which has a closer proximity to my home country of India. I just felt that the time difference and the distance would make me more suitable to be in the UK as compared to the US when it comes to reaching out to folks back home. But I was surrounded by some extraordinary people who gave me the suggestion that the UK's job market is not it's not at a very good trajectory at this point, and they turned out to be correct given the fact that the UK did officially hit recession. The US job market is not at its best either right now, but it's definitely a lot better than the UK's. And given that that's the fact, I think I made the correct decision, and it actually was one of the better decisions of my life, given the fact that I really, for those of you who don't know, I took a trip to the US in 2022. I was here for a month, and that was enough. And I always dreamt of going to the US for further education at some point in my life. So that experience has accentuated the fact that it just cemented the fact that I really want to be here at some point in my life, even if it's for a brief period of time, even if it's just to do a degree. And I'm very glad to have finally actually made it here. It really means the world to me because I also got to spend a lot of priceless time with my family here, who I haven't been able to spend as much time with as I would have liked before I was here in the US and when I was in India, given that India and US are so far off from each other. I overall love the vibe and the culture of the country. I have a very close sense of I resonate very closely with the ideals of what the country is. And yeah, basically all in all, my friends call me Amrika ka Dalal, which in English translates to America's sycophant. So yeah, it's quite clear that I really love America. I don't think there's any secret about that. So coming here over the UK actually turned out to be the best decision of my life. And since I was coming to the US, Purdue had to be on my list of ambitious universities. Given the fact that I was targeting UK before, I didn't have a lot of ambitious universities from the US on my list. But now that I had shifted my focus to the US, Purdue was right there at the very top as one of my ambitious universities. I still remember like it was yesterday when I found out that I made it at Purdue. I was one of the very few people who was interviewed. A lot of my other classmates did not have an interview, but I had an interview. It went pretty well. But you still have those. You're still feeling jittery about whether you're actually going to make it or not. And I remember I was watching this video. I was watching this movie with my sister, a movie of Sara Ali Khan, who happens to be my favorite actor. And I got a notification. I got an email saying that my decision is ready for my decision for Purdue University is ready, and I just stopped the video. I mean the movie, and I went on the site, and I was absolutely ecstatic. It was one of the proudest moments of my life to know that I've made it to one of the top universities in the world. It's safe to say that we did not continue the movie on that given day, but don't worry, we did finish it off the following day. It was, and that's saying quite a bit because it was a murder mystery, and you get pretty hooked to a murder mystery. But given the fact that I actually made it to Purdue, it just superseded all of that. And I don't mean this to be politically correct, but I genuinely mean this from the bottom of my heart that each and every single course that I took at Purdue was worth its weight in gold. But if I had to pick a few programs, a few subjects which really stood out for me, Two of them were from the same professor, Professor Benjamin Dunford, who taught change management and team performance. These were two amazing subjects, and I feel like I learned a lot in these subjects because initiating change can be very difficult. People are susceptible to standing against change because it kind of changes the status quo and people are worried about what it means for their future careers. But change management gives you the tools and concepts that you can use practically to ensure that such changes are done with the consensus of all your employees, which I think is very, very important. And team performance is also a very important subject. We pretty much humankind is we are social animals, so we're pretty much always with people, even if and we're almost pretty and we're always working in teams. Even if you don't like working in teams, you just have to sometimes. So I think the concepts that I learned in team performance were very important. So actually the concepts learned in team performance were very relevant to pretty much anyone and everyone. The other subject that I particularly loved was the introduction to marketing management class by Professor Wreeto. It's The name of the subject suggests that it's an introduction, but we actually covered a lot of concepts in class. We covered the customer lifetime value, which is something that I had not covered in the past, and I was very happy to cover because it's one of my favorite concepts in marketing. And we were also graded majorly on a case study basis. We were given a lot of case studies to do in group settings, and I thought that was one of the best parts of my time at Purdue, the case studies, because case studies enable you to put yourself in the shoes of decision makers and actually be able to carry out decisions which are directly linked to what you learn in class theoretically. Because at the end of the day, it's very important to learn the theoretical concepts, but if you can't apply them in real life, they're not going to be as useful as they could possibly be. In terms of extracurriculars, there was a lot to do at Purdue. I mean, campus is a typical. It's a typical campus from the US that you can see in movies, always buzzing, always busy, and there's a lot of things that you can do. I was personally a part of the writing club and a cause for pause, which is basically a club which has been set up to help raise funds for a dog shelter which takes care of abandoned dogs. So writing and dogs are two things that I'm very fond of. So these clubs basically gave me the opportunity to be able to further explore my areas of interest. I was also part of the Daniels Delegate. A Daniels Delegate is essentially a student who represents the college prospective students and answers any questions that they have. And actually, the entire concept of the inception of the concept of this channel bred um, from the selection as a Daniels Delegate, because I used to get so many questions that I thought that making a YouTube channel would actually be a good idea for us to build a community and answer any questions that you subsequently have as well. It was a moment of great pride for me to be representing one of the best universities in the world, and it's something which I will take with me to the grave. I think the best part about my experience at Purdue was the fact that just like my mixed bag of emotions, the culture here at Purdue truly is a melting pot of all cultures all across the world. You have people from all pretty much anywhere and everywhere all across the globe. You have people from India because well, Indians are pretty much everywhere. You have I knew people from Pakistan, from Nigeria, from Colombia, from Puerto Rico. And yeah, there's Italy as well. And that's just the countries that I can remember from the top of my head. There was a lot more representation of countries all across Purdue, and I think that that was truly the best part of my experience because as much as I love the academics and interacting with my classmates and with my professors, I think what you learn with talking to people from different cultures and countries is something that really transcends pretty much everything that you may learn academically because it's something which is very relevant in an increasingly globalized world today. And I'm very grateful for that experience in all honesty. It's very difficult for me to really pick a favorite moment out of my time at Purdue, but I think if I have to pick one, it would be the group assignments that we did for the marketing analytics class. Well, I was in my second semester, the second module of the entire curriculum and the second semester. So just to give a brief background about my relationship with analytics, I officially hate analytics. It's something that I really wish I wouldn't have to do, but it's pretty much a must have in the world today to be familiar with analytical tools and be able to work with different kinds of data. So I thought it was a very useful class, even though I may not have been the biggest fan of it. And the fact that I actually got to work with my other classmates actually helped me quite a bit because I feel like their support and their guidance actually helped me learn a lot more than I would have learned on my own. And this is what actually makes Purdue so amazing, given the fact that you're actually surrounded by some of the smartest people in the world, in addition to the best professors in the world. You just learn so much. There's so much peer-to-peer learning, and there's so much there. The scope for learning is pretty much limited, in all honesty. On working on the assignments for this course was actually very, very satisfying, because when we got done with those assignments, it was the most satisfying experience in the world, truly. And I remember one of our assignment sessions was actually followed by one of my favorite events at Purdue, which was a Starry Night event right at the very beginning of the not right at the very beginning, but sometime in the early stages of when we began with our university. So I have some very fond memories there. I was also working with one of my best friends. She was part of my group as well, and she was not very fond of analytics either. So we could sit and cry. We could actually sit down and cry about how much we didn't like it together. But on a serious note, the fact is that I have been equipped with the knowledge of analytics, and I feel like even if it's and I feel like I would be able to deal with it if I have to in the future, and that is a huge plus for me, in all honesty. I already spoke about the fact that we had some of the smartest students in the world. Some of my classmates had already done an MBA like me from some of the top universities in India, like ISB and IIM Calcutta. And the other folks in our class were also, they were the absolutely top performing students and or employees of their respective institutions. And this is the kind of setting which makes you very culpable to feeling imposter syndrome. And I've actually made a video of on imposter syndrome. You can check that out if you'd like. But just a basic idea what I speak about is the fact that you may feel that you don't belong, but that's pretty much the feeling that almost all your classmates have for some reason. And that's just, I think it's just down to the fact that we are surrounded by such intellectual people, and there are such intellectually stimulating conversations that happen on an everyday basis, that one of the one of the one of the tendencies that we as human beings tend to have is that we get a little conscious, we get a little what we is known as imposter syndrome. But it's important to be able to overcome that so that you can actually be able to learn as much as you possibly can. In terms of my social setting, I had a couple of excellent friends from class. In order to maintain anonymity, I'm not really mentioning their names, but they know who they were. And honestly, I couldn't have gotten through this program without them. This was my first time away from home, and I had since it was my first time away from home, I legit have been living in my house for the past 25 years of my life. This was the first time I actually went out of the nest. So it was very important for me to have people that I could confide in, people that I was comfortable with, and people who actually made this a home away from home. And I'm very grateful for them. And like I said, I would not have been able to make it through this program without them, in all honesty. And again, I'm not saying this to sound nice or to sound sweet. It's genuinely how I feel. It's genuinely my 2 cents. I also had friends from other programs as well. I could make friends from my Daniels delegate program, and then there was just other connections that were made. And I just wish I would have been able to spend a little bit more time with them. I just feel like given the fact that I was doing a 10-month program, our schedules were just not aligned as well as as well as I would have liked. But I'm still here in West Lafayette for the next few weeks, and there are still a few programs going on. So I'm hoping to be able to catch up with people from those programs and make up for lost time. The convocation ceremony was actually brilliant. I think it's truly commendable that, given even despite the fact that there were so many students, each and every student got individual attention on the day of convocation. Everyone's name was individually called. Everyone was handed the certificate and congratulated. And I think that that is it's something people can take for granted, but it's honestly really important, because it really shows how much the university cares about you. And Purdue University, it's truly a university which thinks a lot and does a lot for its students, and which is why I've always tried to do my best to give back to the university in whatever way I can as well. So if I have to encapsulate and summarize how I feel in one word, the one word that I think which kind of justifies how I'm feeling right now has to be grateful, because like I said, this was a dream come true for me to be at one of the top universities in the world. And it's a childhood dream which came true, in all honesty. So this was I just feel very grateful. I'm very grateful for all the support that I got from my family, from my friends, from my close ones, from my other close ones, I mean. I don't know if there are any other close ones other than family and friends, but in case I missed out on someone, I just like mentioning other close ones to include everyone who has been instrumental in getting me here to Purdue. And yeah, I mean that's how I truly feel. I feel like I'm ready to grab life by its horns and go full steam ahead. This university has also transformed me in terms of I was someone who had a lot of insecurities coming into the university. I wasn't sure whether I belonged, imposter syndrome. But over time, I just realized that, like I spoke about in that video, I wouldn't be here if I didn't belong. And I had a discussion with my mama, who's my uncle, and he actually made me realize talking to him made me realize the importance of self belief. And that self belief, I feel like I've been able to translate that self belief into my time here at Purdue. And just generally in life, I feel like I can do just about anything and everything now. And I think that's very important because you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have the self belief, then that talent is not going to be utilized as well as you'd like. So that's about it, guys. I think it's been looking back at my time at Purdue makes me feel pretty nostalgic. I'm fortunate that I'm actually here in West Lafayette for the next few weeks. So this isn't official. I mean, though it might maybe officially my time, the end of my tenure at Purdue. Unofficially, I'm still going to be going to campus pretty often, pretty frequently, and I'm pretty grateful for that. I will be able to relive all those wonderful memories that I've had from the different corners of campus, and I truly want to make the most of whatever time I have here left. And yeah, the job search continues. That's what's up next. And like I said, I'm optimistic about it. I'm not letting it get to my head, and I'm just very very calm and composed at the moment. We will be doing what needs to be done, which is to apply. Obviously, you have to keep applying, and you just need to keep believing. That's just how it is. That's just how it works. And yeah, I think for anyone who's looking for jobs in the US, just hang in there. I think that better days are coming in the future. It's just a question of when and not if, in all honesty. When I'm writing my long captions on Instagram or just writing letters or just generally writing, I often end it with a PS because usually I end up forgetting talking about something which I consider very, very important, but is not part of the main body of the caption of what I've written. Something similar to that has kind of happened in this video as well. Just the PS of sort is the fact that there's a very strong sense of affinity at Purdue. There's a great deal of pride to be a Boilermaker. And I feel like that translates very well into making connections beyond the university and finding a job as well. So if you're looking for a top university in the US, Purdue University has to be at the top of your list, at near the top of your list, if not at the very top itself. And I'm not saying this because I'm a Purdue grad. I'm saying this very objectively, given the fact that I know a lot of people would objectively want to know about my time at Purdue. So, and objectively speaking, this was truly the best experience you could possibly ask for. And if you're looking to apply to Purdue, make sure that you do it and back yourself to make it. Work hard. Of course, you're not going to make it through without hard work, but with that hard work, have that self belief that you can make it and you will make it. So that's about it, guys. That's it for my nostalgic video. I will be making more videos ahead. Let me know what kind of videos you would like to make, you would like me to make in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to leave me one of these and subscribe and switch on bell notifications so that you don't miss out on any upcoming content. I make videos on my personal, professional, and academic experiences. I've made a lot of videos on Purdue. I made a video on my other alma mater, Athena School of Management, recently. I've also made a few personal videos talking about my personal experiences as well. So, pretty much open to anything and everything at this point, and would really appreciate you guys interacting in the comment section and making this as lively as possible because that's what building a community is all about. And yeah, that's about it. I think grateful is the key word here, and it really is. I just got to say, all hail Purdue. That's about it. That's the perfect way to end it. All hail Purdue. It was one of the proudest moments of my life. I had immense pride in myself, and I felt can be very. There's a lot of. There's usually a lot of. If I had to, in terms of